Thank you. Okay, Psychic Frank's Mystery School is in session live for the first and the third Fridays at 3 o'clock. I'm here doing my thing. And so much I want. Yeah, so before, Gabby, my parrot. Oh, yeah, so Psychic Frank's Mystery School. I'm Psychic Frank, and that's my email address. That's my YouTube channel right there. And I don't know how do I get it off? So we just leave it there. I know there's something. Oh, here it goes. Okay. There we go. Got it. Okay. So I'm Psychic Frank. I'm a healer, a psychic healer, and I use a numerology, astrology, and the tarot cards, and which I have in my hand right now, and get them out of the deck, and I go into a non-local space. And I learned when I first started doing this on TV, especially around 15 years ago, that because before that I remember seeing it back in the 80s. There were a lot of psychic healers, or whatever they call themselves, psychic abilities, and they were, I think we're all the good ones. We channel, but there were like these normal people, and they got on stage, and then all of a sudden they like started twisting their bodies around and talking in different voices, and I went, oh no! I was living with the asthmatic heiress then, and I remember saying, no way am I going to do that. And so it took me a lot of years to, when I'm shifting into that non-local space, only I know it, but when I watch myself on TV, what I used to do, the thrill is gone, so I don't do that anymore. But I would see my spine sort of straightens out. I could see like the colors change. So yeah, it's all about non-locality, and we're going to definitely talk about that today. And before I get into non-locality, I wanted to do that, but we got so caught up in Kingian, Dr. Martin Luther King, his whole healing resistance. And we spent most of the last time I was here, the whole hour, talking about healing resistance. And it's really like one part I just want to I don't think we spent enough time in. If you want, it's on YouTube if you want to check it out. If it bleeds, it leads. If it thinks, it stinks. And I imagine what I'm doing makes people think. So I'm amazed that as many people watch it as they are. So thank you if you're watching this at S F Commons. And Hank, if we have a new mayor here in San Francisco, so it's today's the 6th of December, 2024. I'll be back in a couple of weeks, but we have a new mayor starting next year, Daniel Laurie. Okay, Daniel Laurie, Mr. Mayor-elect. You got your hands full. S F Commons, I missed you. You were here, and I hear Javon told me, you sat in this very chair. And wouldn't it have been nice to have the phones working? It's like, I was thinking of the movie Desperately Seeking Susan, where Roseanne Arquette, Madonna sells this jacket that belonged to Jimi Hendrix with the pyramid in the back, and this used clothes store on Bleecker Street in the Village or something like that, and New York City, and then anyway, but she lives on Long Island, and she gets them. It's really, the whole plot, Desperately Seeking Susan. But this one line sticks in my head about her husband's this really obnoxious cliche of a hot tub salesman or waterbed. Waterbeds were big then. Well, I say that 3 times fast. Waterbeds were big then. Anyway, he's having a party with Oh, so anyway, he says, what did you do today? Something like that. She says, oh, I bought a used jacket. It belonged to Jimi Hendrix. I found it in the village. And he says, you're buying used clothes? What, are we poor? I say that to Gabby, my parrot, all the time. What, are we poor? So Daniel Laurie, what, are we poor? Yeah, we're in a mess. Lyndon Breed spent money like a drunken sailor to try to compensate for the hatchet job she did by destroying all of the key departments that kept the neighborhoods where people rent, could, and I guess own condos, could live in a peaceful yet have civilized social life. But no, it's loud, it's proud, whatever it is, the thieves in San Francisco. And I live in Hayes Valley. I've been there for almost 40-something years, since before the freeway went down. And now, as I said, every time I walk out my door, there's Patricia Green Park, and right like 10 feet away from where all these people are paying Nob Hill rents. Well, everybody in the city's paying Nob Hill rents, but and right in the middle, they put up London Breed's idea. I guess she okayed it. It happened. A 2-story high movie drive-in theater. Yeah, when they first started pulling that, of course the noise, the residents all complained. It was like, I get so excited I stutter. I think I'm going to spend $3,000 a month for a studio in San Francisco, right in the middle of a parking lot for a drive-in theater. I mean, what were you thinking, London Breed? I mean, that's just conscientious stupidity and sincere ignorance. I don't know which goes first there, but that's just one example. What was that? $20,000, maybe $50,000 to erect that thing, and now they rent out the beneath it to these steroid women that take 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, even before sunrise, they're screaming like a drill instructor. I mean, let's bring back the noise pollution. Come on, Daniel Lee, work with me here, and let's get the phones working. Daniel Lee, Laurie, Mr. Laurie, Your Honor. I don't know, what do you call the mayor? Your Honorable Mayor Laurie. Yeah, I couldn't use that word with London Breed. So, yeah, you got your hands filled, but I like what you said about bringing the arts back to San Francisco. Healing's an art. Medicine's a science. Healing's an art. There's a lot of healers out there, and we're all like wanting to do our thing, and when the time is right, and I think the time is right now, so hopefully I'll get to meet you, and we got rid of what's his name, one of those supervisors I locked horns with. So I can't remember his name, so that's good. Yeah, so, and we got the right supervisors in, so as far as I'm concerned, this was a total win-win. Okay, and we're going to talk about Donald Trump. Don't worry about it. Okay, so what it said here in this book, because people would say, I was on my way home last time I read from this book here, if you remember, watched that show, and I said, I didn't put enough emphasis into this in the introduction where he says, first, it has to do with the spirit which we engage with that violence. Sometimes we romanticize violence and make it fun. In some of our movement work, we go to rallies looking for a fight, gearing up with it with a sense of excitement. There's we're going to F this other guy up attitude. He actually puts the word, they're going to F this guy up. There is, we're going to, and a level of violence we witness in our society is so great that we may have no choice but to use violence to stop its escalation. But that is no cause for celebration. If a conflict, isn't that cool? It is a conflict. If a conflict escalates to that level, force should be used with a spirit of mourning that we allowed things to get so out of hand that human beings had to be harmed. Praise and blame or impermanent noise without nourishment. Oh, it's a thrill to get an award. I'm not going to be a two-faced liar. But at the same time, what do you want, a medal or a chest to pin it on? This whole, and Hollywood, shame on Hollywood for all these atrocity movies, Well, it was a rite of passage, we had to invent all these stereotypes for. I don't know. We'll get back to that. So what I want to talk about is Mars is in Leo. And what's so unusual about that, it happens every 2 years for 2 months, and Mars energizes. Mars wants to go, 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 go. And actually a half an hour ago today, Friday the 6th of December, Mars went retrograde. So it's going to be until January. Let me see. I'll give you the exact date here. I wrote it down, but I'll find it here. Mars will go direct 29. Yeah, it backs down to 0 degrees Leo. It's retrograde 9 degrees Leo. And this new moon we had coming up, the Gemini new moon in December there, that was 9-degree Gemini, Sun in Sag, moon in Gemini. But so this Mars will be goes retrograde down to 28 degrees on the 7th of January 2025. And then Mars goes direct February 17 degrees, 1 minute Cancer, the 24th of February. And then it goes back into Leo on April 19th. So through all of May, we have Mars in Leo, and all of June until the 18th of June, when Mars goes into Virgo, back to 2 months there. So what to deal with this? How do we deal with this Mars energy? First of all, everybody's going to be really, really excited. I had a friend, I still have a friend, I don't see her anymore, but years ago, all of a sudden she got it in her head that she had to go to the gym. And for 2 months, and I looked at her chart, 'cause I had it pasted on her wall, because I would visit her to play with her cats. And I said to her, "Oh, Mars is going to be on your rising sign for 2 months. It's going to energize. You're going to have to be active." Anyway, she joined the month for 2 months. She was trying to even convince me to go to the gym. That was a waste of energy there. But anyway, as soon as Mars left her first house, I managed to her and I said, "How's it going with the gym?" I got over it. And yeah, so I said, "Yeah, that was Mars. It'll energize you. It's all about our individual power." And in Leo, it's not going to be easy for Mars to go slow. It's just such a go, go, go thing. So there's a sense of frustration wherever you find Mars, Leo in your chart. It turns inwards to integrate. We use a more productive way. Find our own power, sovereignty, be your own boss. Leo's the heart energy. It's scientifically proven. We're going to talk more in this book by Larry Dossey in a few minutes about it's the most powerful magnet. It's been proven scientifically over and over again that our heart is the electromagnetic. It's just the most powerful organ in our body, electromagnetic. It draws to us and repels. It's just what we need. It activates multi-dimensions of your heart, multi-dimensionality of your heart. That's a $10 word. The cosmos in a whole field of, the cosmos is a huge field of electromagnetic energy, which happens to be plasma, by the way. Our heart is the organ that connects us with the cosmos. It's the largest electromagnetic organ in our body. I had to say that over again. And this retrograde of Mars in Leo and its opposition to Pluto in Aquarius is activating the depth and power of that power that's in our heart that most people keep it quiet, we're going to talk about that in a second. Because from now on, this is about shifting from our mind, from the full moon in Gemini, which was 9 degrees, 32 minutes, Gemini, sun and moon, to our hearts. moving from the information age to the age of the heart, moving Leo, moving from the information age to the heart. Leo is about sovereignty. If we use this well, if we play this Mars and Leo well now, retrograde until for the next 2 months, we will no longer be the victim be in that victim consciousness. Victims don't heal. No good ever comes from bonding with a wound. It's another thing. Having found deeper courage and deeper strength, words that fit Mars and Leo, it opens up the possibilities for you versus staying in a kind of reactive and receptive state. The observer, that's what they teach you in yoga classes or Tibetan Buddhism, be the observer. The witness, the divine witness. I incarnated to witness this atrocities going on today. If your own feelings and emotions, to witness your own, how, we're all get a chance to witness our own feelings and emotions to what's going on today as we speak. It's like one can't even think about it. To give our power away to the city and government. See, that's what's not happening anymore. We are internally or externally referenced in our life. We have been encouraged all our lives to be externally focused, meaning give our power away to the government, give our power away to everybody else, but not ourselves. And then as I was reading that, I thought about, I think it was Jefferson or somebody said, one of our forefathers said, when people fear the government, this tyranny. When the government fears the people, this democracy. Well, see, we got right now, people are afraid of the government. I mean, the same ones. Of course, the cult, the Trump cult now, we talked to, I'm a boomer, I'm 76. I remember the Mooney, Reverend Sun John Moon there, and the Moonies, and, this is like much worse than the Moonies. But see, back then they would kidnap people who were brainwashed by the Moonies and deprogram them. But how are we going to deprogram half of the population of the planet of the United States? Well, the angels can do that. We are internally or externally referenced in our life? Have we been encouraged all our lives to be externally focused and constantly baffled by external events? It's exhausting. I think collectively after thousands of years of that, we're exhausted. If we are internally referenced, you can choose emotions that go beyond the apparent current of external reality. Love. Choose love, peace to override. I like what Pam Gregory mentioned, this exact word, but I've been using for years. It's time to celebrate the power that gives us as co-creators and co-producers is huge. So this is like a dynamic thing, because not only Mars retrograde in Leo, but it's opposing Pluto in Aquarius. And this is no just 2 little month dab. No, this is for 20 years now. Pluto's like in Leo for it's going to be a couple of years, 2026, when Saturn, February and March of 2026, when Saturn and Neptune leave Pisces, 29 Pisces again, and enter Aries. They're doing that this 2025, but it'll be 2026. They'll be in Aries for the long haul. And Pam Gregory mentioned this. She's in the UK, in London. This is a spiritual responsibility, but also hugely empowering for us. And then Eckhart Tolle wrote in the paper she reads this week, to end the misery that has afflicted the human condition for thousands of years, you have to stay with yourself and take responsibility for your inner state every moment. From now on, your heart and your gut are here to guide you as you navigate through the demons of your past and towards the angels of your future. There's Mars in retrograde. And this happens this week. Venus is in Aquarius December 8th, and she'll be in conjunct Aquarius, 0 Aquarius. So that's something sweet. Venus once a year will be in Aquarius for a few weeks, and it'd be interesting to see Venus's first real run-in with Pluto in Aquarius. Oh yeah, the subatomic world responds to observation, up our level of will and sincerity, make thought uh, more real than anything. You know, beliefs are just thoughts. You keep on thinking, and thoughts can be changed. The emphasis is on ordinary magic of immersing oneself fully in one's everyday life rather than looking for idealized or escapist solutions. So this is what, so neutralize. I learned this years ago from a psychic buddy of mine who's, God, it's been going on 40 years, over 40 years we've been buddies. We still remember each other's birthdays. We don't see each other that much anymore. His daughter's the same age as my parent. So anyway, what was I talking about? I started thinking of something Joe says, and I skipped my mind. Well, anyway, we'll get back to that. It'll float right back. Okay, so let's get to this non-local stuff. Okay, so all this Leo energy is happening in the United States of America's North Node in Leo. The North Node, South Node is polarity there. That's our soul's evolution. So the Aquarius is no longer on our Pluto, so we've had our first Pluto return. That happens since the United States of America was created, 1776. This is our first... Pluto was 27 degrees Capricorn, and Pluto was back and forth over Pluto. Pluto moves like cold molasses on a winter's day, slow, but as I said, nothing even remotely resembles to what it used to look like. And then, as I said, over this period of Mars from mid-December now until June there, when Mars leaves Leo, we're going to have 3 oppositions of Mars and Leo to Pluto. And I believe those are going to be historic. Something will surface that needs to be purged. So that's the astrology part of it all. The United States of America is in an 11 vibration, because our day and month, July 4th, is 11 there, 11. So we have 2024 is 8, 9, 10. Let me see. Let me write it down. I had it all written down, but then I lost it. Okay, so the USA is the 4th of July, which is 11, and then 24 is 8, 9. Yeah, we're in a 1 year, and we're going into in 11 years. Next year is going to be a spiritual revelations. So I believe give Donald Trump enough rope, and he'll hang himself. He'll hang himself for sure. Okay, I want to talk about non-locality. Non-locality is so important, because it's where I go, and it's the hope for the future. And yeah, see, science, quantum theory, everything they're talking, all NASA, they're all dealing with locality. So I picked up local. Okay, so here's this book. It's very important. It's The Soul's Code. It's written in '89, I believe. In Search of Character and Calling by James Hillman. And I've had so many copies of this, and I end up gifting them to people, but I ordered a new copy, and I'm going to keep it. I always say that. Okay, so what we got here is, the introduction is in a nutshell. It goes on and on and on. Okay, let's just get right to it. Growing down. The ladder, whose accent imply spiritual progress has long pedigree. The Hebrews, Greeks, and Christians all gave a special value to the heights of our spiritually influenced compass of Western morality tends to put all better things up high and worse things low down. By the last century, growth became inexorably caught in this ascensionist fantasy. Darwin's theory, the descent of man, became in our minds the descent of man. Each immigrant moved upward in social class as building upward moved upward with their elevators. Buildings moved upward in their elevators to move more expensive levels. Industry refining of buried materials, oil, coal, copper, oil, increased their economic value and the financial status of their owners simply by raising these basic stuffs from below to above. By now, the upward idea of growth has become a biological cliche. To be an adult is to be a grown-up, yet this is merely one way of speaking of maturity, and an heroic one at that. For even tomato plants, the tallest trees send down roots as they rise towards the light. Yet the metaphor for our lives seems mainly the upward part of organic motion. Hasn't something critically been omitted in the ascensionist model? Birthing. Normally we come into the world head first, like divers into a pool of humanity. Besides, the head has a soft spot through which the infant soul, according to traditions of body symbolism, could still be influenced by its origins. That's why they laugh at the angels, newborns, and then by the time the ego the ego starts to form and settle there, that's over. Then the whole ego thing starts. But I love whenever I see newborns, I always look around, I can see the angels. It's easy to see the auras around newborns, and whenever I see an infant in a carriage, I always sneak a peek and smile, and I can see, even if they're asleep, it just gives me a thrill. Well, yeah, the mystical is thrilling. Einstein said that. Cheap thrills are like on NASA now. It's ridiculous now. They're all about cheap thrills. We're as far out of space as we're ever going to get. Okay, the slow closing of the head's frontal and fissures. It's hardening into a tightly sealed skull, signifying separation from an invisible beyond and final arrival here. Descent takes a while. We grow down. We need a long life to get on our feet. I was reading this and I was thinking of Dr. Frankl, who lived around the time. He was not as big as Freud and Jung, because he was all about, he discovered by studying hopeless alcoholics and drug addicts in institutions that they had one thing in common. They all felt their life had no meaning. And a meaningful life takes decades to unfold. I'm 76 and my life just started getting inklings of meanings, and I turned into my 60s. I had that experience in 82. And my early 30s, that was a blessed, it sobered me up. It was such an amazing experience. See, that's what people, alcoholics, horrible addictions of any kind to substances. You need a spiritual experience, and that's what Carl Jung's told Dr. Bob. If you supposedly if you do those steps thoroughly, you'll have a spiritual awakening. Yeah, but I had mine before. Descent takes a while to grow down. Yeah, and then I like what Hillman says here. Then we'll talk a little bit about recovery of the soul. That's more about non-locality. But being, Donald Trump's going to be taking home the bad seed. He talks here, this is on chapter 10, the bad seed of James Hillman. Crooks and criminals, sadistic guards and serial rapists, all the creatures, large and small, of the underworld, did their souls descend from a lap of necessity. He talks about the law of necessity here, and about, then he says, The phenomenon of Hitler has implications bearing on our present lives and citizens. Unlike the crimes of Charles Manson, Jeffrey Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy, and the like, quote unquote, the damages wrought by individual violence are significant compared to the Holocaust resulting from self-transcending devotion to collectively shared belief systems. And that's what's going on now. The Trumpies, this cultural to be a conscious citizen of the Western post-Hitler age. Not only one must recall the images of the lessons of the first half of this century, Hitler's time. Well, this was written in 89, 98 or something. Demonic potential was the same, and he goes on and on there. He talks about here the cold heart. Near the end, in Hitler's last speech to his district commanders, he said, quote unquote, "Come what may, my heart remains ice cold," quote unquote. That's a Stephen Miller, Donald Trump's buddy, who's gonna the ice age, the new ice guy. Oh yeah, they're gonna do misery. They're gonna put families in cages. Come on, yeah, he says he who said at a staff conference he admiringly praised Goring, he said quote unquote has proved himself to be ice cold. He was with me through the difficult days. He was always ice cold. Whenever it became really bad, he turned ice cold. Yeah, this is like, wow, the best thing you could say about somebody. It's cold-hearted Hannah, the vamp of Savannah. The very bottom of hell, according to Dante, is a realm of ice inhabited by the archy-criminals, Cain, Judas, Lucifer legends. Yeah, they talk about hellfire, wolf. Yeah, the wolf was one of Hitler's favorite. He had actually Adolf. It's German for noble wolf. He even named himself after a wolf. They say his eyes, suicides of all the women in his life. He loved freaks. His chauffeur was a midget who had to sit on blocks to drive the car. This is all true stuff. This disfigured, humorless, this really is Donald Trump. Humorless Hitler, freaks, costumes, theater pageants, but no comedy. Hitler had no humor, said Albert Speer, his architect and armaments minister. A secretary who worked daily with him said, "I must say I never heard him laugh heartily." And a companion in his youth said that he was totally lacking in the spirit of self-irony. He could not pass over something with a smile. Among soldiers on the front, he never joked or laughed. He had a horror of being laughed at. He had told no suggestive jokes and forbade them in his presence. Forbid them in his presence. The devil may act like a trickster, show wit, play the clown, dance a jig, be a jokester, but the humans and humility of humor, never. Humor was a word, also implies moistens and softens, giving a common touch. It is, it's not for them. Yeah, so, he goes on about that, and we'll get into that. But now I want to get to something else. Larry Dossey, Dr. Larry Dossey, is called Recovering the Soul, a scientific and spiritual search for the soul. Yeah, it's because we've got lost. Got a lot of soulless people running around. They don't even believe in an eternal soul. Yeah, why speak of the soul in such an age of science? Why suggest that there is some aspect of the psyche that is not subject to the limitations of space and time, and which might precede the birth of the body and survive its death? The main reason is that something vital has been left out of almost all of the modern efforts to understand our mental life, something that counts as first principle, without which everything is bound to be incomplete and off base. The missing element is the mind's non-local nature. Virtually every modern explanation of the mind assumes that it can be found in a certain place in space or time. The spatial space to which the mind has its traditionally fixed is the brain of an individual person. The temporal place to which it is assigned is the present moment and a single lifetime. Thus, a mind is consigned to and isolated to an individual person, and what is worse, it is thus doomed to oblivion, for when the death of the brain, it must also die. With the death of the brain. See, it's not me. Hey, me, don't point that shit at me, man. This is the local assumptions underlying the most. Yeah, if you unless your doctor is one of the new hip guns, he's in a local. All medicine now is all local. All the scholarly Western attempts to describe the human mind, because they try to locate the mind, to fix it in a time and space, they are, I believe, flawed. And then he goes on, and yeah, we got some time left because I do want to touch the cards. What does he say? Death and suffering. There's so much here about. Let's see what he says here. Death and suffering. From the tireless labyrinth of dreams I returned as if to my home, to the harsh prison. I blessed its dampness, I blessed its trigger, I blessed the service of light, crevice of light. I blessed my old suffering body, I blessed the darkness and the stone, and there occurred what I cannot forget nor communicate. There occurred the union with the divinity, with the universe. George Louis Borges, the God Spirit. Mind and health. If we recover our soul, if we transcend our limited, isolated self and allow a full flowering of our non-local nature, just when you go to sleep at night, put your hands on your heart. Put your favorite stone on your heart. Yeah, you're going to roll around in bed, it'll fall out, but, just get that energy going in your heart. And you'd be surprised. The angels can't do anything for us. The law is you got to ask for their help. I believe in. I'm a spiritualist, so I believe all roads lead to Rome. It follows, with your heart. It's all. That's how we're going to survive this now. It's all about our heart now. As I said, science is science is medicine. Medicine is science. It's from science. Healing is from the heart. Healers are from the heart. Hurt people hurt people. That's why in the 60s I was so happy psychoanalysis was going on. But now, it's all about our individual self now. I, me, mine. What is the connection between buried alive yogis? Oh yeah, there's this interesting story in here about a guy who's buried alive in 73, a 60-year-old Indian yogi named Saramurti was buried alive in an earthen pit, 1.5 meter cube, and then they attached him with an EKG, and then 8 days later he came out. They did. Like 2 days, his heart, when he went into this, because this was the ultimate meditation. Yeah, if you get into he wanted to prove this was from the Krishna, Rabindranath Tagore Medical College Hospital in UDAIPAR, India. Then this sparsely built man was talking about placed it presumably corner for drinking. Oh, this water, because they said he didn't need. They in this tomb, in the corner they left enough water, but they say it wasn't for his drinking. It was for the humidity. Somehow he was going to survive in humidity. So then they have the exact times when his heart at 5:15 p.m. on the second day, something alarming happened. Oh yeah, and immediately when a day into it, his heart rate began to rise, increasing to 250 beats per minute. This continued until the yogi had been in the pit for 29 hours. Then at 5:15 p.m. on the second day, something alarming happened. The electrical activity of the heartbeat suddenly disappeared. Nothing but a straight line could be obtained on the heart tracing. There had been no warning, no prior indication of ischemia, the condition of too little blood flow to the heart, which can be seen as which can be seen in an electrocardiogram, with no interference pattern which could have been made. The straight line continued until the 8th day, when about 30 minutes before the pit was scheduled to be open, a little electrical disturbance appeared in the place of the straight line, finally giving way to a normal appeared cardiac pattern, except for a slight increase in the heart rate. The yoga had predicted the entire scenario. When he went into meditation, he had said his heart would disappear. After 7 days, he would begin to come out of the deep meditation, and his heartbeat would reappear. When the pit was opened, one of the doctors went immediately to examine him. He was sitting in the same squatting position in a stuporous condition. And he was in a stupor, I would imagine. Yeah, that's putting it mildly. He was in a stuporous condition and very cold. When he was assisted from the earthen pit, he began to shiver, which persisted for nearly 2 hours. He was taken to the laboratory where, I bet he was shaking. He was taken to the laboratory where a follow-up KGB was entirely normal. The Yoga Sayamurti there and his followers were delighted. They felt this simply aptly demonstrated the extraordinary control that yogis have claimed for centuries. As for the doctors, they admitted that we were left rather perplexed and confused. The EKG, Western medicine's got the power, man. They never break their arm. You're not going to get them to say, any God did I say that? They believe hope is cruel. There's so many things I want to talk about that in one mind here. Well, another book by Larry Dossey. Okay, so it's almost, we got some time because I want to save time to do the cards. Yeah, it says, I have indeed this book to be way out of hell. The hell of this particular moment in history, we confront threats of our existence that our forebears never imagined. An earth that is being degraded by the sheer fact that our existence is short-sighted, our existence and our short-sighted choices. It is a hell from which beyond a certain point, experts say there may be no escape. And unlike the Calcutta scenario, perhaps no atonement. The evidence of our global placement is based on an abundant science, not on some sidewalk lunatic wearing a sandwich board yelling the end is near. Only through willful blindness can one not be aware of the challenges we face: global climate change, pollution, air and water, exploding populations, habitat and species loss, water scarcity, desertification. The deserts are happening. Murderous ideologies, resource depletion, grinding poverty, endless wars of choice, ethnic and religious hatreds, on and on, all abetted by the I've got mine, every man for himself philosophy. That's Donald Trump, man. Got mine, good luck getting yours. Philosophy that currently, that's grifters, man. What is it? Angelica Houston and that's a great movie, The Grifters. I think you should rent it. I have chosen not to dwell on the specific threats themselves. However, many other writers have done so brilliantly. My approach this is Larry Dossey talking, my approach rather has been a roundabout and sideways to tell the truth, but to tell it with a slant. As Emily Dickinson advised, and I thought, imagine there. Today's self-transcendence. There is an implication of the paranormal that is profound. The data of parapsychology provide evidence for the view that there is a connectedness to all things, and that this relatedness is natural and not a result of human artifact, i.e. the telephone, the PSI indirectly suggests that aspects of the cosmos are intimately inherited. I am in a significant way part of this unity, and then spiritual meaning can be developed out of this view. Yeah, okay, so human consciousness is non-local. It is not confined to specific points in space, such as brains and bodies. Take advantage of this. What do you got to lose, man? I mean, we're waking up now. We're no longer children of God. We're adults of God, and we're gonna. As I said, I just picked up this book this morning because Larry Dossey, and I prided myself on being really up on it because he's been my saving grace since I first found him in the early '80s, when I came conscious, and I said to myself. That I have read everything, and I realized I never read this one, and it's all about non-locality. Yeah, for years I've been always talking, since I've been doing this, I just nonchalantly, like everybody knows what I'm talking about, how I'm in this non-local state. Well, this is what, and then I realized people don't know what I'm talking about. So yeah, non-locality. Get on your computer, Larry Dossey, non-locality. Get some books, do some reading. Let me see what the guys want you guys to know today. Let me move over here. I bought the bigger deck because the colors are better. And let me pick 6 cards. And first let me cut the cards, get to my non. One mind, praise one mind. What do my friends, what do my fellow brothers and sisters of every color, creed, shape, and form need to know who might be listening to me today? Right here, we'll pick 6 cards. Okay, here we have how we're feeling about ourselves. I think we sense that Donald's going to do himself in. He's got these... there's no word. Heinous is a good word. These heinous people are just all of them. He wants to destroy. He is a Russian asset, and I think Jack Smith. Boy, it must be hard for Jack Smith because he knows that. He had the facts. Where do those documents go? We're going to find it. It's not over till it's over, and there's going to be 3 oppositions from now until the end of May, June. But by June. Mars will still be in Leo, but it won't be in opposition to Pluto anymore. But between December, over the next couple of months, there's going to be 3 oppositions to Mars and Pluto. And I believe it's not over till it's over. What we want most right now, collectively, we want true love. We want this love, eternal love. We want to feel divine love. We want to be there for everything. Now is as I said, it's not the inner, it's the outer. It's all about more money, more this. If I only had this. This is what we're fearing now. This is major arcana. So far, we got the world, the lovers. And here we are doing the dance of life in the world. When hell freezes over, I'll skate. We're all creating it. We're giving our power away. What did I wrote? I found this today. Oh no, that's not here. It's in the yellow one. It was 1935 to 1980, workers got 70% of all income growth in America. In 1980 to 1912, workers got none of the income growth. All income gains went to the top 10. Ronald Reagan's 3.5-year experiment failed. It was the biggest fraud ever. And God bless Joe Biden because he did say that it was trickle down. He came right out and said it. Trickle down. Reagan's trickle down economics. I didn't even see. He didn't say the Reagan word, but he just said trickle down economics didn't work. We need somebody that says, and let's tear down every airport that has that son of a bitch's name on it. Let's. Why are we glorifying? Why is the press all bought and paid for? Let's start realizing we're in this mess because Ronald Reagan. Say in the '60s when Reagan, the middle class was thriving after the assassination of Dr. King, the Kennedys. The middle class was thriving, and that scared the hell out of the bad guys. And they said, oh, no, we got to get somebody in that office now who's going to totally take an axe to the middle class. And that's what happened. It's gone, thanks to Ronald Reagan. And Kamala Harris danced around the wound. She went, Bernie had Bernie Sanders, man. And Bernie wanted to get on the campaign trail with her. She wouldn't have him. She wasn't going to go that way. So, yes, as I said, so it happened. It all happened for the best. This is not the plan we wanted, but our job now is to neutralize. Don't match that energy. People can drag us down to their level. We can't put them up to ours. So what we got now is we're feeling that we know in our heart of hearts now this is happening for us. Yeah, we know that change. In the movies, you go from one paradigm to another, one scene to next scene. In real life, there's no these overlappings. As I said, the secret of death is no one dies. There's nobody doesn't survive their death. And as I said, a lot of these, like Stephen Miller and a lot of Bannon, these are literally, I'm not calling names, I'm just saying that it is. They're reincarnated Nazis. Like Pema Chodron, the Tibetan monk says, she says, nothing ever goes away until it teaches us what it came in to teach us. So, we didn't get it. We didn't learn it. We didn't get it yet. Kamala was not going to be on Bernie's side. Excuse me. Okay, so here's how we're feeling about ourselves now. As I said, it's all about sovereignty now. We're taking our power back. Civil disobedience becomes a necessity in times like this. And now's when everybody's grateful at a banquet. Now's where we have to be really, loving ourselves and realizing now that we've been waking up now, and not be angry. When you first wake up, you're angry, but then get past that. And we're afraid now because everything's upside down to get our attention. Work with your angels. Bob Fosse. Work with me, people. Work with me, people. And here's what's going on for us. Saturn. Saturn's in Pisces now. So as I said, it's time now to realize that our minds are totally different than what we've been brainwashed into thinking to keep us down. It's sort of like the dog they keep in the electrically wired thing in their cage. Every time he tries to go out, it shocks him, and then he finally says, what the hell? And just, the Pavoni, and whatever that dog is. Yeah, well, that's the one. Okay, what our fears is, don't cry over spilled milk. Nothing's broken. We could pick things up and go over this bridge over the river of sadness now, and this is the final outcome now. Yeah, this is total changes now. This is what it took. It took. I don't believe he'll be in there for the 4 years. I don't think he's going to die in office. Well, I'm not going to go there. But in the 50s, there was that movie where Judy Holliday. She died very young, but she was a great actress with Paul Douglas, Born Yesterday, about this Donald Trump type character. Well, he's a Boy Scout compared to what's going on with Donald Trump, but, where he buys one congressman. And back then in the 50s when that movie was made, that was like scandalous. And of course she falls in love with William Holden, the good guy. And then at one part, Paul Douglas slaps her across the face. and she says, she screams at him, "Do me a favor, Harry, drop dead." And, and every now and then I watch Donald Trump on TV, and I think of Judy Holliday, and I think of that scene in the movie. "Do me a favor, Donald." But no, he's got to stay alive, so I don't want him to drop dead. This isn't a movie. He's got to stay alive because we want him to get enough ropes or he'll just destroy himself. Yeah, and this, as I said, those Jim, what's his name, Smith, put them on these charges and everything, that they could be picked up. There's no, after he's out of office. So, but I believe something's going to come about over the next year. Actually, his first year. I don't think something will happen. Well, let me pick a card. Let me pick one card as a reading, then sometimes two if you want some details. So just this one card for about where we are now as Mars and Leo. Neutralize a lot of that energy. Use that Mars energy to really get up and get things done, like your inner self. Start really using that Mars energy to get some courage, because Leo, the courage of a lion, and Mars. Now, this is a time where courage is really there. The courage to really take a look and responsibility. And it doesn't mean you didn't love your parents. They were brainwashed by the post-war baby boomers, These guys came back from the war thinking they were all that in a bag of chips. Yeah, we're all eternal. When we finally leave this planet, we'll be surprised to find out how real in life, it's funny, people are always at their peak. Whenever I'm always going to have that time grid of like mid-20s, And what's surrounding us all is kindred spirits now. We're learning to love each other a lot more now. In a few days, in a couple of weeks, Donald Trump will have the nuclear code. And maybe now is the time to start really getting it to us now that, okay, you love your grandchildren. Get courage. Let's get. My wish is that during this period from December, mid-December, like right now, starting now, right through to May, June, while Mars is in Leo opposite Pluto, we get the courage to really face that we're responsible. It takes, to realize, I was conned. Get the movie The Grifters with Angelica Houston. I forget the guy's name. Oh God, he was in a lot of good movies. It's on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, and there's hope. There's always hope. Something medicine, Western medicine. I can't tell you. I tell you the first time back in the 80s when I was doing a lot of healings. Healings means sometimes they die. Most of the time they died, but at least they died with a smile on their face. Dying's a beautiful. They should be more. People shouldn't be put in death mills the last hours of their life. We should have hospices for everybody. I'll leave my little session here for today with my plea to the new mayor. God bless. I voted for him. And you shouldn't tell people how you vote, but I'm really proud that finally somebody I voted for. So Daniel Laurie, man, I'm honored to be sitting in the chair you graced. I want you to do what you could do. Tear down that driver's that movie theater in Hayes Valley. I mean, what numbnuts came up with that idea? You know what it is? I just answered my own question. Is Ed Lee made the homeless. The evictions during Ed Lee's period were fast and furious, and then he sort of trained London Breed, and then she was a nightmare on wheels. She threw the cannabis movement, alternative healings. She for up until just last week, up until last 2 months ago, she was really out with her. I am against harm reduction. She was all about London Breed. We had our own version of. I'm already packing up. Is that rude? There's like nobody going to come in here in a minute. I'm just getting ready to go. I love being here. Everybody, I love you. I love you from the bottom of my heart. Activate your heart. Talk to your heart. Give it kisses. Don't yell at your heart. Okay, I'm going to pick one more card because we have a few more minutes. Let me pick one more card and see what I get. You know, the fact that life exists on this planet, on this one wing of the Milky Way, that where the conditions are just perfect for consciousness and human life and consciousness to evolve. And the universe is 99.99% plasma now, where human life is so rare, and we're just totally, I think it's ennui, EUMMI, ennui. It's a French word meaning just totally spoiled brats, you know, bored, like, oh, another Napoleon, another bonbon. I'm so bored. I want a parade, a new ring, and an eclair. You know. Now this is Saturn now, taking us out of one playpen and put us in a better, cushier, more evolved. It's going to be, Pam Gregory said today, it's going to be 3 years before the whole new paradigm. Pam Gregory is this British astrologer I absolutely adore. She's on YouTube. Subscribe, it's free. And astrology is a good... So what happens in January 1st for most of us old souls is the year goes from spring to spring. So there's this overlapping. So we're going to add 2025 will be a completion 9 year. Very humanitarian year. We're going to see, especially by September of next year, real breakthroughs in the distribution of food. I'm really being optimistic, and I don't feel it's like, you know, a pink cloud or anything. I believe, you know, by then Pluto, as I said, will be firmly, and also this 2025, we're going to have a couple of months of both Neptune and Saturn in Aries for a little while, a couple of months, and that's going to give us a taste. But in the meanwhile now, enjoy where we are now. Don't, you know, you watch I watch a lot of TV, and there's that, what's that, Danny Thomas's daughter, you know, that girl. Oh, no, it's not. She looks like her. You know, it's Osmond girl, Marie Osmond. Yeah, the one who killed her gay son. She belonged in a religion that hates homosexuals, and her gay kid killed herself. That's why I can't stand her. I neutralize that energy. But anyway, she's constantly on TV now, and the first thing she says now when selling, I don't know what she's selling, getting old sucks. That's her exact word. Getting old sucks. Hey, screw you, man. Don't pollute my consciousness with that crap. Yeah, maybe for you it does. For me, I'm blessed to be alive. I love my life. I love it. It reminds me of this is just a tool I'm using in this life. I'm not this body. I'm much, much more than this. So are you. So are you. I love you. I'll be back in 2 weeks. I went a little overboard, but namaste, and I just can't tell you I love you enough, and it feels good to be back. Before I left here, I gave my parrot a big kiss. We cuddled and kissed, and I said, and she's so much happier now, because right now she'd be screaming her head off, because when I get excited, she gets excited. So I think it was really stressing her out. So I made the right decision, and Gabby is very, very happy. And namaste, I love you all. Bye. And pay attention to your dreams. A dream uninterpreted is like a letter unread. Okay, and don't forget, I'm Psychic Frank's Mystery School. My email address is psychicfrank11@gmail.com. Email me your birthday, the time, date, and location, and I'll tell you your rising sign. Well, okay, take care. Yeah, you could email me, and you could use another name. Nobody's going to know. Okay, leave that on another second. Well, I had a lot of fun today. I hope you got something out of it. Namaste. Bye. Okay, we're out of here.